Man, that was a hassle. So, so if you hear a really loud bang in the middle of the podcast this week, it's because my microphone fell down because I'm missing a piece that attaches it to its stand, and it's now we're using Fun Tack and packing tape.
Not sponsored by Loctite.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy this hopefully bang-free podcast. So, welcome to Rebels and Robots, episode 6.
Woo.
With Cameron and
Rachel.
She was on time this week because she did a good job. She knows how to read finger cues now, I guess. Rachel, how are you today?
Pretty good. You know, we are thriving. I do have to say, it's the day after Valentine's Day. So, we gotta start off with a meme to celebrate the day after Valentine's Day. Happy day 15, everyone.
Day 15 of
February. Yeah. It's day 15.
Cool.
I can tell you're not on the internet on
Apparently
Twitter
not.
too often, because every time there's a 15th of the month, my Twitter is just filled with that clip from SpongeBob of Mr. Krabs going, day 15. Give it up for day 15. It's good.
I guess it doesn't register me as a joke because he does
funny?
multiple days. That's from the episode. We're going to go real deep on this. No, it's SpongeBob. It's not related. This is a Star Wars and Transformers podcast. It is Starformers night, where we talk about Star Wars and Transformers every week. This week we have an equal, well, not necessarily a totally equally helping, but we have two things on the docket. We've got the Super Bowl advertisement for Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and then episode 10 of Bad Bat. So we actually do have some Transformers content related this week.
I didn't even watch the Super Bowl.
Well, I did. I was very excited when the Transformers had. Unfortunately, it didn't have a lot of new footage or information particularly, but it was still exciting to just have it pop up on television and have a chance to talk about it.
Cameron thinking about content all week long.
Heck yeah. Oh yeah, that does remind me that the comment I was going to say about that was when in the middle of the Super Bowl, was quite towards the beginning, when the ad popped in, my first thought was podcast content.
Content.
I'm so excited. We have a Transformers thing to talk about on the podcast.
Finally.
But of course, as always, before we get to our topic for the week, we like to talk about the last week for us, whether talking about stuff from last week's episode or anything that's happened in the last week. And my first note that I have is not about last week's episode, but immediately after recording, I went out to my car and went to go home, and I put my phone on the Bluetooth in the car and hit shuffle on the music on my phone, and what else played but Across the Stars? Of all the music on my phone, my entire music library, that was the song that was next.
That's good.
Which we brought up last week because of the ending of the episode. We made a joke about Across the Stars. So I thought that was quite fitting. I also have a funny quote from you that I did not catch. I did not hear you say it as we were podcasting last week, but you just said, "There are no accidents, only happy clones."
I thought that was a good one.
Which is hilarious. Which is a play on
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross's "There are
no accidents, just happy trees."
Yes. And I thought there's no mistakes. There are just happy accidents.
I don't know.
And he also says happy trees.
There was also, it's probably a mix because we watched Kung Fu Panda, and I think Oogway says, there are no accidents. That's the worst Oogway impression I could have made, but he also says there are no accidents.
I was going to say that.
Bane!
That was kind of Bane, wasn't it? I was going to say, you combined the quotes, you combined it with Oogway's, there are no accidents. Do you remember why you said that last week? I didn't write down the context.
I can look up the...
Oh, in your own notes?
Yeah. Are we on episode 5 or 6? Are we on episode 6? I think we're on episode 6.
Yes, that's what I said. We're on episode 6 of the podcast. We've been doing this for over a month now. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, man,
I meant to say that last week. Last week was our 1 month into podcasting. Actually, we skipped a week. So it would have been on episode 3.
I don't remember why I said that.
It was good, though. I wish I'd written down the context, but that was funny. I also have written down from last week. I texted it to you. I didn't write it down here.
That's dangerous.
Do you have anything from the last week in the Star Wars and Transformers world?
I do. I have a couple of things. In honor of Valentine's Day, who's your favorite Star Wars couple?
Oh. Are you asking me?
Yes, legitimately. I'm asking you.
Well,
I can go first if you need to think about it.
Well, what I was going to say before I forget was I've been with my girlfriend, she's now my fiance, for almost 2 years, and she had never seen Star Wars other than she'd seen one of the new ones at some point. So we watched all 11 over the course of 2 months recently, and our running gag was talking about who do we know for sure in this universe has had sex. And so this is a closely related, there are so few couples, and you end up getting these married sub couples. One of the very few couples in the actual couples is Anakin's mom and Lars.
Oh yeah.
What is his first name?
Mickelson. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, because
Papa Lars, I don't know.
Owen is his son.
Yeah.
Uncle Owen is his son, and I can't remember. Anyways, unimportant. One of the very few married couples now they didn't have a kid together. They did not have a kid together, but
blended families or families.
Oh, absolutely. What I'm saying is we don't have actual confirmation.
No, biological.
Anyways, that's not important. That was just some context for why at some point after we watched all 11 movies, my fiance and I were discussing who are the confirmed couples in Star Wars.
Binks
There's not that many.
Tim from Andor.
Yep, that's one. Yep, absolutely.
We watched that. Hooking up his canon.
So, the two most obvious Star Wars couples are Han and Leia and Anakin and Padme. Anakin and Padme are definitely not the best Star Wars couple, that's for sure. Han and Leia, there's an argument to be had there, though they didn't really we never really got to see them be a couple. Not really. So not in canon, not in the movies.
I have the book. I think it's The Princess and the Scoundrel. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have it. My mom has it because she was going to read it first. But it is a book written about Disney's new luxury resort, because in Star Wars canon it's a starship cruiser. And it's where they have their honeymoon or whatever, I think. If I remember correctly.
Oh, interesting.
From what I've heard, that's what it is. And I'm like, capitalism at its finest.
That's great.
Anyways, who's your favorite couple? Do you have one?
Well, I've never thought about it, so I don't have one off the top of my head.
I have one.
I think I know what I was going to say. It's probably the same. Did they spawn a mutant devil child with green eyes? And does he have green skin to a green hair?
No, it's just green hair.
So, of course, we are talking about Caleb Doom, a.k.a. I'm totally blanking on his actual name. Oh, his Jedi name. Kalen. No, wait, what is his name?
It's Kanan.
Kanan. Oh, okay, Kanan was that far off.
Do I need to get the action figure off my bookshelf to bring him out and show you the name? Kanan Jarrus.
Kanan Jarrus, man. If this whole podcast, it could just be me failing to remember character names. And
Harrison Dola.
Thank you.
My gosh.
It's been too long since we watched Rebels, I guess. Anyway.
So you know what? We should watch it again.
No, it's funny. I'm actually staring at her right now because you sent me a TikTok including her.
One of my favorite running jokes between us is whenever we don't know what to... I don't know how often I do it. At least once a month. Where we'll be talking about shows we watched. I'm like, yeah, there's this really niche show that I think you'd really enjoy. And it's always Rebels every time.
Okay, so Kanan and...
Hera.
Yes. Definitely a great couple.
Top 10 mom and dads.
Yeah, because you spend... I mean, as far as dramatic flair and conflict, you never were 100% sure how together they were.
Kanan got dramatic flared.
Oh, no. Oh, no. So yeah, good couple.
And good chemistry. They didn't seem really toxic. Not really too many red flags going on, other than can you make a relationship work in the middle of a rebel uprising, which I guess that's kind of a valid question.
Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru
would
not have their on-screen presence would not have really registered as much of a couple. The implication that they raised Luke to be not as horrible as his father, is pretty good implication.
Aunt Twin Sons Baru.
Yes, but you're referencing the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, where we do get to see a lot more of them, especially them being willing to throw down and defend Luke, and they're quite the power couple, actually.
I love them.
So that's another good option. Let me think. Is there? I feel like there's a more potentially recent one.
I could look up the Twitter thread. Well, it is interesting seeing some people's thoughts. Someone posted a picture of Fennec and Boba.
Oh no,
no, they're coworkers.
They're work husband and wife.
I feel like one of the other popular ones is Cassian and Jyn Erso, but my hot take about that is the entire Rogue One squadron were coworkers.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if there was any romance between them at the very end, it is a pretty romantic elevator ride that they take down. But
we're about to get nuked into oblivion.
Yeah, so
might as well have a hug.
Not much of a chance for there to be an actual. They're not really a couple.
I guess like Rey and Kylo Ren. Kind of.
That's an option. I mean, yeah, they kiss. I mean, one of the very few on-screen kisses, so they definitely register. Definitely, in my opinion, should not have been a romantic couple, especially since they're technically related, since Palpatine is kind of Anakin's father, makes them related.
Are you referencing that comic where it shows?
I mean, just the fact that it is strongly implied that Palpatine manipulated the midichlorians to create Anakin.
Yeah.
And in the original screenplay, he did say, "I am your father." So
he did? I didn't know that about the original screenplay. Mm-hmm. Yikes! So
maybe technically not the correct word. From a certain point of view, one of the classic Star Wars lines. And so it's to some degree they kind of are related. Either way, and just for narrative purposes, it just kind of felt weird to. I wouldn't have been
home Tatooine.
Yeah. I would not have been so against there being a romantic relationship at the core of the new Star Wars trilogy. It's that it's not really addressed until the last 5 seconds. Like, it's not really a romantic relationship, and it feels much more sibling-esque to me most of the time. So that's my opinion. That's why it would be not my favorite. Definitely counts as a relationship.
Could have had Rey and Finn.
Could have been, yeah, but...
I saw... oh, no, we'll continue the conversation. That was something else.
I was going to make a really bad remark about the Chinese market not liking
with the poster
interracial couples. So I unfortunately I think Disney was just too afraid to have an interracial couple at the core of Star Wars, which is very sad. And maybe that's not true. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I ultimately one of my favorite moments of the new trilogy is Finn, Poe, and Rey, all three hugging as friends at the end of episode 9.
I would have loved to have seen Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, probably would have been a better movie, but nonetheless.
I feel like what else? What other couples? The frogs from Mandalorian.
That's a good one. That's a good choice.
The most
I like
green
that.
flag relationship.
That's great. I love that. That's fun. Definitely. Cool. Something else I was about to say from last week's episode, something I had to find. Was that the end of the topic for you for Valentine's Day? Did you have any other more couples? Because we could go on forever.
Oh gosh, I didn't think
it could
that
be a whole
hard.
episode almost.
Obi-Wan and Satine. 50% of this podcast supports Corky Kenobi.
Corky Kenobi?
Corky, the kid.
Is his name Corky?
Yeah, his name's Corky.
What a terrible name.
So bad.
Wow.
Look, I'm just saying, that kid looks a lot like Obi-Wan, and there's only 2 sisters, and they're like, we got this random nephew. Would he spawn in?
Yeah, that's certainly a choice. He
spawned in at the age of 10.
We love our conspiracy theories. Anyways, so a really interesting note about last week's episode that I would have never caught in a million years, but I found online, is that one of the senators, her name is Halle Bertoni. Apparently, this is a reference to Hallie Burton, which is a corporation that if you just look them up on Wikipedia, obviously, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people do this. I certainly do this. The first thing you do when you bring up a Wikipedia is you scroll down to find the controversial tab. It's like most of the page. Specifically, I think the most relevant one to last week's episode is they own the Deepwater Horizon oil drill that exploded. And here's a quote from the Wikipedia page. Halliburton pleaded guilty to destroying evidence after the April 2010 Deepwater Horizon disaster, which is exactly what that episode is about. Wild.
But politics in my stories.
And that character pre-existed, right?
Yeah, she was in Clone Wars.
She was in the Clone. So
that's been
reference
way
been
back.
Around, but the fact that it came back around in such a relevant way, I mean, it's clearly always been relevant for her to represent. Clearly, her name makes it so that she represents
it's a little too specific.
She represents a corrupt corporation, but the fact that it would come around in such a specific way, I think, is really interesting and shows that even a relatively goofy Star Wars cartoon can still have these sly little political references in there. That the political element of the show is clearly there, but the intentional real world parallel there, I think, is really interesting. So add some kudos to the writers after I said they didn't exist after the one episode with the space giraffe. They turned around, but though that is them kind of piggybacking off of something that was started from Clone Wars, it's still in the DNA of the show.
I had something. I saw this from Mesa Windu on TikTok today. And he posted about this, so I didn't find them on my own, but I want to talk about it. So there's pretty much arguably one of the most famous clones in extended universe, Alpha 17.
Okay.
I'm not super versed on the extended universe, but apparently that character was originally going to be in Rex's place, but George Lucas vetoed having Alpha 17 in it due to too much A alliteration. Because you'd have had Anakin, Ahsoka, R2, and then Alpha 17.
That is interesting.
But it feels a little on brand for George.
Yeah.
Been like, that's too many A's.
I don't want that many A characters, and it throws off the feng shui of my Star Wars universe.
Feng shui. That's a big word for Cameron.
What? Excuse you. Anyways,
I had some other things to say before we get into the meat of the podcast. So Bad Batch episodes 7 and 8, talking all about clones rights and supports, supporting them post-war. And an interesting comparison. So we brought this up last week. We see in Kenobi, a homeless clone veteran.
Yes,
but that clone was a 501st veteran.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting because Vader, 501st is Anakin's. Vader kept his clones. He kept them, I think, for as long as he could. And then I think he only really replaced them with stormtroopers when he didn't have any more. So very interesting. They're affectionately, maybe not so affectionately, called Vader's Fist. His 501st. So interesting that not even Vader's trusted clones were saved from that. Not even them made it out unscathed.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, that's it is interesting to wonder how intentional that is, because it legitimately is just a blue stripe on the armor, I would assume, that marks him as the 501st. So whether
they had their colors.
Yeah. So that could have just been, that could be just that was the armor they had around, that whether
sneak peek,
whether that was thought through or not, but it's also potentially a choice that, because there is, hold on, now I'm trying to remember, are there flashbacks to Order 66 in the Kenobi show? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, Reva has them.
Okay, so there it is. So those are 501st troopers. So that's what made me think that there's a visual parallel there. Anyways, That's probably more the intention behind that. But it is the implication of it is that the highest order of clones ended up on the streets.
That reminds me, I got to watch Revenge of the Sith with Cameron and his fiance. It was her first time seeing Revenge of the Sith. So very interesting to see someone's first reaction to the youngling scene. The last thing I wanted to say was probably, I think I've asked this every single time, where is Cody? He is still gone. We have not seen that man since episode 3. So here's my thing. Imagine they write Cody out of Kenobi just to have him go AWOL at the end of episode 3 and never show up again.
Just one episode of Bad Batch. I also realized recently listening to the podcast, because the movies have episode in the title, it can be confusing on this podcast whether we're referring to a film or an episode of the show, because you're saying episode 3
of the Bad Batch.
Yeah, and I know what you mean. But I just thought that was interesting that it is somewhat difficult to talk about a Star Wars show and then you just have the movies are also episodes. Did you have anything else from this last week? I'm looking at news right now. I forgot about this. I'm glad to look this up. There was a bit of controversy around. So Peter Mayhew was the man who played Chewbacca, and he passed away some time ago. And there was a bunch of Star Wars memorabilia in his attic, and it was going to get auctioned off against his family's will because it was in the house. And it was, the quote I saw was because he was just in his later years unable to do anything about it, to go, get it down or something, to move it to where he moved. So that's why it was in an attic in a house that he didn't own anymore or something. But this headline says, late Chewbacca actor Star Wars memorabilia found in attic won't be auctioned after widow objects.
Good.
So that's a cool little bit of uplifting Star Wars news there. Good. So I think it'd be a good time now to move on to our first subject, which is the Transformers Rise of the Beast Super Bowl spot. Which is not a ton to talk about, though I would love to hear your thoughts on seemingly Mirage is our main Autobot
Mirage
for this movie.
Looks a little too much like Jazz when he first showed up, and that's my favorite Transformer. And so when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, they're bringing him back, and it's not him. So it's fine. I won't be too sad. But here's a very interesting thing. So he's a Porsche.
Yes.
And Porsche... It was a Porsche commercial, which is very interesting because one of the first toys planned for the Alternators toy line, I have to check out when this came out, started late 2003. One of the first toys planned for that Alternators toy line was Jazz, and there was going to be a licensed Porsche 986. I don't know what that means, but it was going to be a Porsche. And a prototype was made, but Porsche refused to grant Hasbro and Takara the license, stating that, quote, Transformers are not worthy of carrying the Porsche trademark. They are war machines, and the toy line in no way represents the lifestyle and ideas which Porsche represents, end quotes. So the toy never went into production, and is also, I believe, the big reason why Jazz in that first Transformers by Michael Bay film was not a Porsche.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because I
think it's interesting.
I heard that on another podcast, and that is very interesting, especially considering not only is there a Porsche at the center of this film, the Super Bowl commercial, at the end when the Transformers logo comes up, the Autobot symbol turns around into the Porsche logo. So this is partially a Porsche commercial. The text in the commercial is what do you drive to save the world or something along those lines.
I feel like Porsche probably saw how much money the first movie made, and
how many yellow, black striped Camaros exist in the world now. How many cars the Transformers film sold.
There is a yellow, I don't know if you've seen it around town, there's a yellow Camaro with black racing stripes that has an Autobot logo on its side.
It's you see them all over the country.
I know. I'm certain that the numbers came back in from Transformers domestic run, and Porsche probably went, oh.
So yeah, I think
oh no,
Transformers has always been an incredibly effective commercial, and that doesn't stop at toys. It is an incredibly effective car commercial.
Volkswagen also did it at first with Bumblebee, but then they caved.
Yes.
But so kind of interesting. So I'm like,
So
I'm just bitter.
Just to continue to be to complain about this, even though I think we're probably excited for this movie. We'll talk positively in a minute. So we watched the trailer again right before we started podcasting, and I couldn't hear it very well while I was watching the Super Bowl. So it was the first time I really heard Mirage's voice. I was like, I don't love that voice performance. I looked it up on IMDb. Who was playing Mirage? Do you know who's playing Mirage?
I haven't looked yet. Who is it?
Pete Davidson.
I remember.
I'm so mad.
I remember when the casting came out and they said he was going to be in it, and everyone was like, who the heck is Pete Davidson going to play? Other than himself, I guess.
Yeah. Because I'm sitting here looking at, there's so many phenomenal voices. There is Michelle Yeoh as Air Razor, Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, which I did not know that. Ron Perlman, one of the best voices in the world. He was Hellboy. He's in lots of sci-fi, fantasy, so I'm totally blanking on anything else he's done other than Hellboy. But just brilliant actor. Peter Dinklage playing Scourge.
I love Peter Dinklage.
Now, obviously, most famous for Game of Thrones, but just lots. He's also in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and he's in Elf.
Is he really?
In what?
3 Billboards Outside?
Yeah,
I didn't know. I need to see that still.
Oh, well, yeah, his whole thing is that it's a small town in Missouri, and he's a dwarf who lives there, or a little person. I think they call him a dwarf in the movie. John DiMaggio, voice of Bender from Futurama, and Jake the Dog, one of the best voice actors in the world, playing Stratosphere. Then, of course, you got Peter Cullen returning as Optimus Prime, and then we've got Pete Davidson. And I don't hate Pete Davidson, but man, that is a celebrity voice. That is not a voice actor. He's not really even an actor, in my opinion. But I really hope that doesn't bring down the rest of the film. Maybe I'll settle into his performance. But
you get what's his name? The main human character.
I'm not familiar with this actor, I don't think. So the character's name is Noah. The actor's name is Anthony Ramos.
Yes, Anthony Ramos. Do you know what he is most famous for?
In the Heights, Hamilton.
Yeah, he was in that first Broadway run of Hamilton.
Oh.
He's in the soundtrack.
Well, man, this cast is not doing it for me, I gotta say. Maybe I'll be wrong.
Cameron hates musicals, but for some reason doesn't hate La La Land.
Because I love good film.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's rough, buddy. Hopefully it's good. I could be wrong, but yeah, so far I'm not digging the acting. I am excited for this director, though. His name is
Michael Bay.
No, thankfully not. Stephen Caple Jr. He, his biggest movie is Creed 2. I love the Rocky movies. I love the Creed movies. I thought Creed 2 is quite excellent. And he directed one other film called The Land that I know nothing about. So,
The Land.
But I'm excited to see how he takes on. It looks like, for lack of a better word, like kind of like an urban element to this movie. Very, just a different perspective. Whereas the last film was very like small town California. The first 5 films are Michael Bay films. This has a different perspective, it looks like. And I'm interested.
Respect to the craft. Sorry.
I said perspective.
I said respect.
Okay. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot to like about this. I mean, the visual effects continue to be great. I think they're starting to really figure out how to blend something that looks realistic with something that looks like the cartoons, and that's exciting. I kind of like that we don't really know what it's about still.
Outside of The Beasts Are Rising.
Yeah. So I think that I like going into movies not really knowing what they're about. I feel like maybe I would be interested to know how much I need to know about Beast Wars.
I don't know anything.
And I don't really want to watch that show.
I don't either.
But maybe we should try a few episodes.
Oh, do we have to?
Maybe we should watch like a YouTube video that recaps it. A lot of this trailer is just this main human character being in Mirage and screaming, and I hope that's just like a very small portion
Shia LaBeouf of him.
Yes. So hopefully they fix that. other than that, it's a pretty quick trailer. Not a lot of new footage. Anything, things that your Transformers fan eyes caught?
Rachel, what do your Transformer fan eyes see? Really not too much. Just kind of waiting. We were waiting to see how it goes,
I think Bumblebee talks in this trailer, I believe.
He's got his
which
voice
is nice, but maybe not. I could be wrong. I thought I heard him talk though. If so, it would be nice just for Bumblebee to just be a character and not like pretty much a meme
accessory.
Generator. Yeah, he's like at this point he's the equivalent of a TikTok or an Instagram reel sound machine. Like that's all he is. So
soundboard that people use on streaming. We should get a soundboard.
I'll look into it. Maybe
we should have a soundboard. It's just all Lego Yoda death noise.
We already. Oh my gosh. We already have too many bits on this podcast. Okay, so now on to the main topic of today, episode 9 of the Bad Batch. Wait, I have episode 9 written down, but that might not be right. It's episode 10.
It is episode 9, because 7 and 8 was last week.
Oh, great. So episode 9 called The Crossing. And you're laughing. I know why you're laughing, because it's funny, because The Crossing is also a name of a, we'll just say, similar parallel business to the one I work at. It's technically a competitor. And so we thought that was quite amusing. Just looking at the IMDb right off the bat, so just to quickly get into the description of the episode, they're on this planet. Someone's yelling in the hallway, and it felt like I got chills down my spine because I felt like they were right behind me. That freaked me out.
I would have let you know if someone came in.
It's weird that we've podcasted here. This is our 4th time podcasting here. Yeah. We've never had any noise from the hallway.
Hey, you want to know off topic? You know how sometimes we have our yee truck join us in the background? There are now 2.
Oh no.
Anyways.
They're on this planet. They're going to try to do some mining. Someone steals their ship. A character that the only thing we know about this person is probably child size and has seemingly feathers for hair, unless that's from their helmet. We don't know.
They were getting the heck out of Dodge.
But when that character showed up, you went, a voice other than D. Bradley Baker. First, I went, hold on, we don't know that yet. Secondly, character did not end up talking at all. So I'm looking at IMDb, and there are 3 voices: D. Bradley, Michelle Ong, and Ray Perlman, who plays Sid.
Ray Perlman.
Not related to Ron Perlman. Perlman is spelled differently. That is funny though.
I did know. I guess before we get it, he's wearing a mask. Their whole face was covered. Don't have to animate a face. If you don't show
the
them.
Classics animation trick: just put masks on characters that you don't want to do their facial animations.
If we can start from the I don't know. You want to start from the beginning?
Yeah. I
have lots of things to say. I don't know. I typically just write down anything that
my first note is not till they get to the actual drilling part.
Okay. It opens on the planet landscape, and the first thing out of my mouth is Arizona.
Yeah, especially with the very Western
and then
music
I was
playing.
Super bad because 2 seconds later I was like, I should have made a Red Dead Redemption joke. My next comment isn't until the portal thing, because the entrance to the mine, which is that circular entrance thing.
That's the first scene, isn't it?
Kind of. Anyways,
door.
So
I know what you're gonna say.
What that circular door made me think of. There's a scene from one of the Jack and Daxter games.
Oh, interesting.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I've never played those games before.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well,
I just did not. That was not what I thought you were going to say, because while we were watching it, they push the button, open the door, this little platform races up to it, and you went, "It's ADA compliant."
I did say that.
So that's what I thought you were going to say now.
No, there's a secret ending, and I won't make us watch through this whole thing, but that was my first thought. It kind of made me think there's a scene from one of the Jack and Daxter games, which I guess ages me.
Probably.
Which I'm trying to. So basically, I've never played a Jack and Daxter game, unfortunately.
Then why do you know what this is?
Because I know this solely from another meme, but so it's this. I think it's like an ending that like reveals to the next one, and they're all standing before
a big circular door just opened.
A portal, yeah, a big and that this is the only reference I have that they're just standing in front of a portal, and I think it relates to the second game. So that's it. That was what I thought.
Wow, that was a long walk.
One
Rachel,
person
for
out
no
there,
payoff.
One person out there is gonna get it.
Great. And yeah, just keep going. You have more notes than me normally, so you can just keep going. I'll throw in whenever I have something.
So when they were deciding who was going to stay outside, and Hunter notices the storm, and then switches to a shot of the horizon with that dust storm, and then back to Hunter, and Hunter immediately leans down and like picks up dirt. And I didn't notice at the time he was checking the wind. Because he's like letting the dust fall from his hand to see which way the wind is moving.
Sure.
So he's like, the storm's moving away.
Okay.
I thought for some reason in my head, I thought he immediately was going to like look at the storm and then like mess around in the dirt and then go, there's a storm coming. That is for some reason. I was going to be like, wow.
That's great.
Top 10 engineered clone moment. I don't know. This is a good comment that you had. So Hunter and Echo are walking into the mine, and they're like, oh man, the mine is empty. And one of them says, I think Sid made a bad deal. And you just said, Sid making a bad business deal? No way. It was just the most deadpan voice. It was very, very amusing.
She's terrible at her job.
She's really...
And this is why the Bad Batch work with her, because anyone that was good at their job would probably not be working with them.
There are no bad jobs, just bad managers.
There are no bad jobs, just bad batches. Anyways.
Oh, that's good. And we get to see sad Omega. She's so sad.
So before that,
oh yes,
they are drilling this Ipsium. I think is that what they call it?
Yeah, Ipsium.
And of course, what is a new Star Wars thing without some sort of very combustible
Shiny
material? I just loved the drill thing. Just like
really
it
nice.
like had a big drill and then it like popped out of the way and had a little drill, and like the texturing and like modeling on the drill, and also the Ipsium was all really, and the lighting was beautiful. It was just, something I love about World is the technology. Like one of my favorite sequences in all of fiction is now I want to forget the character's name. Dr. Sattler clicking all of the switches back in Jurassic Park.
And in Dominion 2, there's a callback to it.
Yeah, whatever. We don't need to talk about that movie. I just love buttons, and there's like so many things in a science fiction world that you can, like, things clicking and like whirring. That's why probably I love droids. So for this there would be so much time to spend on this drill thing. I don't know. I was really into it. And so I don't have anything funny to say about it. I just like that sequence a lot.
You did have a really funny thing to say about it, because they call Omega in to lift her up to drill the Ipsium. And Cameron, you immediately say, they're using her as a small Lego character.
Which, to explain, in Lego Star Wars video games, characters like, the original one, it was Anakin, like child Anakin, and child Boba Fett, like the only two. I don't even remember if there are any in Lego Star Wars 2, because I don't think there's not that many children in the original trilogy.
I feel like there's definitely another one, but I can't remember who it was.
Neither do I. You could use these children characters to crawl into like small spaces, and that's exactly what they used Omega for in this moment. So that was why I said that. So the next moment that you already referred to was Sad Omega. So
Sad Omega.
Oh wait, no, I had my notes out of order.
Oh no! We're missing a wealth of information.
So as their ship is getting stolen, actually, is that after this?
That's after this.
Oh, that is after this. Okay. So, well, I think, okay, hold on. I think Sad Omega is after the, never mind. Sad Omega is after the next thing you referred to. Sad Omega is after what I was about to talk about, which is Omega yelling stop at the ship as it flew away, which is hysterical. Just like, The Bad Batch is like trying in their heads to formulate a plan on how to like get out of this mess as they see their ship flying away.
She puts her hand out too. She's like,
and
stop!
She goes, stop! Thanks, Omega. Brilliant.
Don't forget, up until this whole time, Tech has said probably how many times about how fragile and volatile and unstable Ipsium is. And they get out, and this I think this is the shot right before their ship gets stolen. Hunter's carrying the case, and he goes, let's get back to Ord Mantell, and slams the case down on the ground.
Hysterical. It
just immediately, bam! And I was like, what?
They treat the Ipsium, how they physically bang it around is pretty much equivalent to like a 5-year-old with an iPad. Just like
with like an OtterBox,
like trying to destroy it, like actively trying to turn it into pieces.
Cannot give them anything fragile.
And then a moment later, Echo's like, not Echo.
Oh, rip.
Omega's like, can we call Echo? And they're like, well, he's out of range, and also he's blocked our communication.
He said they turned his communicator off.
Oh, and you just go, he blocked them.
He said,
really great.
He said, new captain who dis.
Oh, no.
I just thought it was so fun. I mean, and their reason is like, he's probably on like a secret mission or something. I'm like, he blocked them. How do communicators work between planets?
I don't know. How does any of this work?
That is my thing. See, if I'm, I don't know, hypothetically, if I'm on like Mars and I tried to call you on my cell phone, it's not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, it's not quite the same, but it just let sleeping dogs lie, I suppose. So, also, sorry, out of the corner of my eye, I just saw that, this is totally irrelevant. Anthony Ramos, the young man who's the main character.
Full circle.
A young man who's the main character in the new
Rise of the
Transformers
Beast.
film, did the voice of a character named Piranha in The Bad Guys, and for some reason that's his biggest movie role up until now.
Crazy.
Other than that, oh wait, shoot, he's in Godzilla King of Monsters.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. Yes, he's one of the pilots.
That's very relevant because Rachel's obsessed with Godzilla.
I totally forgot about that because every time I see that movie, which is often, I go, that's Anthony Ramos. Because I'm like, that's because the first time we saw, because we went and saw it together, I was like, that's Anthony Ramos. He's in Hamilton. I can't believe I forgot that. I feel like, and somehow he survives till the end.
Well, there you go. He survived with Godzilla. Anyways, sorry, I just saw that out of the corner of my eye. At first, I assumed it was.
We're gonna turn it into a Godzilla podcast at some point.
Oh no, not nearly enough content for that.
What are you talking about? They're
content.
Almost 80 years.
New content, like new stuff coming out.
Shin Godzilla versus Ultraman that we still gotta watch.
Shin Godzilla versus Ultraman.
I think that's what it was called.
It's just Shin Ultraman.
Is it Shin Ultraman?
I wish, dude, you would not. I would not have stopped talking about a movie called Shin Godzilla versus Ultraman. That would have ruled. Unfortunately, it's just Shin Ultraman.
Well, we need to watch it because I've seen some scenes. Anyways, Star Wars.
So Sad Omega.
And so they're like, well, we don't have a ship anymore, so I guess we have to walk. And they're walking in the canyon. And so they kind of turn around and I'm like, that storm's coming. And they hear things in the canyon. And out of the dust cloud comes this stampede of antelope. And I immediately go, I remember this scene from Lion King. And then half a beat passes. And I'm like, oh, wait, that didn't end well. Because honestly, for those of you listening that don't know this, if someone like hooked up a projector to my brain, I could probably just like replay the entirety of the Lion King film without missing anything. So it's kind of like ingrained into my head. And I was kind of curious. I'm like, I'm kind of want to see some shot for shot analysis in this scene. Poor Wrecker. Taking one for the team and laying over the Ipsium and just getting pelted by these deer.
Yeah, was like, and like as the scene progresses, it gets more and more like the Lion King stampede, and we're just like constantly, oh no, because that scene, if it gets more and more like that scene, that scene ends with Mufasa's death. And
of Cameron, you had a good comment because the stampede doesn't really last very long, just a couple, like a minute maybe. And you just go, "Long live the Empire."
Yeah. Can you imagine if, like, one of them, like a hunter, was trying to climb out and Crosshair showed up, just like, brother.
Doesn't even know.
Oh, my brother.
He wouldn't even push him. Just shoots him point blank in the forehead.
Shoots him in the hand.
Another good movie reference, almost immediately after, or movie similarity, is the dust storm starts coming through the canyon, almost a little maliciously. And Cameron, you immediately say, "It's the Mummy."
Yeah, because we said, "Oh, it's Lion King," and then that scene ended, and then this sandstorm starts rolling down the chasm, and I go, "Oh, now it's the Mummy." Just keeps rolling in.
And I was like, I said, Palpatine's face is gonna come out the dust and try to eat him. Other fun fact: terrifying. I could probably play the Mummy from my brain.
I legitimately thought for a second it might happen because there was like lightning in the storm coming, and that felt very
Is Palpatine T-posing through over the
planet. No.
He's just surrounded by a storm. Can someone animate that? I can animate that.
You could. So then the Bad Bats get stuck in a cave because their Ipsium explodes. It's so funny that they drop the Ipsium and it's like, leave it behind, which like in the moment feels like, yeah, save your lives, don't worry about this.
Let it go, son.
And the wind blows it straight into. Now, actually, would have been better though if it, instead of it hitting the cave, it just like comes into the cave and like explodes in the cave, like Bodhi getting exploded in Rogue One when the grenade lands in his ship.
No, get Bodhi'd.
And that's the end of the Bad Bats, just right there. And then it's just an Echo, Cody,
and Rex.
Gosh dang it! I did it again, didn't I? Echo, Rex, buddy cop show.
Rex.
So they're in the cave.
They're gonna go beat up Crosshair.
And you were like, and so now they're stuck in this cave without a ship. They're mad at each other, and you're like, everything is falling apart without Echo.
I was like, is Echo the glue that held the Bad Batch together? You could make an argument that maybe it's Omega, but after this episode, I think it was Echo.
The family needs their mom.
They do. Mom left and everything.
What exactly did Tex say to Echo to make her mad?
To Omega.
Gosh dang it.
So Echo, or I did it too.
Uh-huh.
So Omega is having a moment, and as she should. She's kind of been through a lot at her little young age.
Correct.
And she's really upset about the fact that no one is acknowledging.
Oh, here it is. I got the exact quote.
Yeah, that no one is acknowledging that Echo is gone. I mean, I know for a fact after last episode they all got on the ship and they probably didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They just have like not the mental capacity, like the emotional capacity, like walnuts or something. And so she's
men grown in a lab.
And she's really upset, and I don't blame her.
And so she's all upset, and he goes, "What is your issue?" That's what Tex says to her. One of the worst possible things to say to an upset prepubescent girl. Just like, I'm surprised she didn't just shoot him right there.
and yeah, because he said it was such a little attitude too. And then she's like, she goes to walk away, and Hunter's like, "Hey, wait, don't leave." She goes, she's like, "I want to be alone." And I mean, totally valid. And so then there's this really funny moment where Omega is pissed, and now Hunter and Wrecker are mad because Tech there's a shot where Tech's like, "What did I do?" And Wrecker just like looks at him and just like shakes his head. It is good.
Man, if Wrecker knows you messed up emotionally or socially, you really screwed up.
Cameron had a good comment and says, "Top 10 Star Wars twists. Tech is bad with women and kids."
It's very true.
So, and my comment was, at least someone misses Echo outside of the fans.
Which is a reference to him like not getting a lot of dialogue or screen time last season. I didn't think about that. Like fans were so mad at his lack of screen time and like character development last season. He was like, he'd be there, but doesn't have nothing to do. And this season they're like, bet, and now he's just gone.
After you had another good comment, because she goes into the cave or whatever to kind of like hang out and just chill out. Omega does, and you just go, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
That's just, you guys are getting a real insight into what it's like to watch something with us, which is just like a dumb references is all it is really.
We're gonna get copyright struck sometime, but
thankfully you're not that good of a singer. You're not good enough to sound like
Garfunkel and is that
Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah.
I had to pause for a minute. I was like,
just throwing random shade on the pod.
You had another good comment because Hunter then sends off Tech to be like, you gotta fix this, and Tech's like, I don't feel like I should, but okay. And Hunter, sends Tech off to go find her, and you just say, unknown amongst Hunter's skills, emotional intelligence.
What does Ray do? He hunts, he leads, and he helps his brothers with their emotional problems.
Just tells them what to do. So let me see. So Omega finds a bunch of Ipsium. Like, at least 2 cases.
Oh, man. Well, when it exploded earlier, I should have said Ipsium. More like Oopsium.
Oh, man.
I'm hilarious.
That's good. So she finds a bunch of Ipsium, and Tech comes along, and he's like, oh, wow, you found Ipsium. And things were a little tense. A little awkward. And so Omega bites off a little more than she can chew, and she tries to go for a bigger Ipsium deposit and slips and is dangling there. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Tech kind of took his sweet time trying to get her. I feel like Hunter would have caught her. He's kind of fast.
I don't know, it's a small hole you'd have to dive through to get there.
I don't know. Tech dilly-dallied. But anyways, so she falls into this ominous void. And Tech just goes, okay, and jumps after her. Braver man than I am, because I would have been like, I'm going to tie a rope, and I'm going to come get you. Like, imagine they're so fortunate that water was down there and not like 200
he just dove into a void.
200
no
feet
idea.
onto sharp rocks.
Yeah, it could have been
dead.
It could have gone to the plant's core. It could have gone to a rancor. It could have gone. You just like what is it? Obi-Wan says in Attack of the Clones, nest of Gundarks.
Oh yeah, like they're so lucky, and they're
Crosshair could have been down there. You have no idea.
Oh, the worst. They're so lucky.
Oh, speaking of which, it has been
so
many days since a Crosshair incident. We really need to get a counter on that.
Wait, we'll put it on my dry erase board. Side tangent. We are on episode 9, and there's only been 1 episode with Crosshair, which is a really good ratio if you ask me. But yeah, they're really lucky they didn't fall 200 feet into water, because that's like hitting concrete. Actually, less than 200 feet. I think like anything close to like 50 feet is really bad. So lucky. And so we get to have a fun little underwater adventure, very flushed away.
Have you actually seen the film Flushed Away?
I have.
That is about British rats. British rat.
We watched it together.
The British rat finding a civilization of rats under the city of London. They don't go underground and find a city of Omegas or something, or a bunch of clones living underground, a bunch of subterranean clones.
But they got flushed away.
They didn't get flushed.
Yes, they did.
It's a funny reference, but like the actual parallels are very minimum.
Okay, fine. There's no group of singing frogs, if that's what you're going to be nitpicky about.
Well, now I'm mad that there's not.
We just get Sid.
Who are the French? You know who the French characters in Star Wars are?
Oh,
is it the Twi'leks? And they're green.
Oh my gosh!
Because all the frogs in Flushed Away are green.
No.
Well, I mean, they're French. All the frogs are French. Of course, they're green. They're frogs. They're French, and that's really funny. Anyways, continuing on.
Are there any other Flushed Away references we can make?
I don't think so. Can you imagine if there had been a bunch of Twi'leks under there? That would have been pretty good. So they fall down the chasm and they get flushed away. And they wash up on the beach and
an underground beach. The sewers of London.
Yeah, okay. Like, I don't have any more notes. from here on, I mean, okay, we do have a nice conversation here. And while Tech Tech and Omega are waiting for Hunter and wow, who are the other characters? Wow,
Wrecker
to
get flushed away.
It's just the 5 of them. Wow,
4 of them.
It's just 4 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
5 plus Gonki.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. When they stole the ship, they're really concerned. Omega was really concerned about the ship because it's like their home. Doesn't care about Gonki. Gonki's on the ship.
Hypothesis: the ship returns to rescue them next episode, and it's because Gonki killed the guy.
It's kind of similar to like the ship rescuing Finn and Rose in Last Jedi,
or the chicken walker.
That I was more thinking when he's in the ship on Canto Bight. And BB-8 is in the ship.
Yeah.
So like the ship shows up, like, who is that? And Gonki's just like in the window, and they get on the ship. There's just like blood everywhere,
eviscerated,
feathers and blood everywhere. It's like, oh, we don't get to know who this character was. Also, FYI, it's been 35 days since January 11th, which is when episode 3 of season 2 of the Bad Batch aired. So it's been 35 days since a Crosshair incident.
What a beautiful time. That's gonna, now that we have an actual number, it's probably gonna get ruined next episode. Or maybe the episode after. Imagine if we just don't see him for the rest of the series.
There's a lot of characters in this show that are just like disappearing ominously.
But okay, but so back to the episode, we kind of get like a nice conversation. Well, I mean, it's an okay conversation between...
At the bare minimum, my complaint about the Space Giraffe episode was that there was just nothing. No progress. No plot development, no character development. That's why it's a bad kind of filler episode. I mean, like... It was a bad batch of filler episodes. This does provide some character development. It was also my issue with the racing episode as well. No one learns anything.
We learned
there's no development.
Tech likes to go fast.
Like Sanic. So this at least it develops the relationship between these two. It kind of shows why Hunter's is the leader, because he's not just strategic, but he will like make sure they remain together as a family.
Kill each other.
Showed us a lot about Omega, showed her feelings, and her line about, Tech says we're soldiers, and that's what soldiers do, is they take change and move on. And she's like, well, we're more than that. Like there's and he talks about him not being able to know what to do with change because it has to happen. So
I'm also the same way if you give me responsibility of a child. I don't know how to handle them. But so yeah, we kind of get like this nice moment where they're kind of like almost forced to hang out. They have to, they're forced to reconcile. A
forced chill episode. Forced hangout sesh.
Yeah, they're not going to sit there in silence. But so they're in text like, I just don't react to change like that, and Omega's like, you should.
It also further provides evidence for the belief that Tech is almost certainly on the autistic spectrum.
I've seen a lot of conversation about that online.
Yeah, so that's an interesting him talking about not knowing how to like communicate with people and share his emotions. And he says something like not being able to doesn't feel things the same way as other people, or something like that.
Different. What was I gonna say? Different social cues.
Yeah. It's it's a nice little moment.
We did have this funny conversation where Omega says, we're not just soldiers, we're more than that, we're a family.
No, I'm about to lose it. Rachel, look at this. Sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to find the exact quote, and then I just find this subtitle. It's a frame of.
Can you take a screenshot of that?
If at the moment I let go, it's going to go away. Maybe I can. Got it.
Yes.
Of course, the Disney Plus Play blocks this. Does it block it? I think it does.
Evil. We'll just take a picture.
It was so I'm looking for this exact quote from Tech about his social and processing things differently, but as I'm scrolling through, I click on a frame and it's just the two of them sitting in the water, looking concerned sitting on the rocks, looking concerned at the water, and the subtitle just says "Wrecker screaming." That's going in the meme post.
Wait. Oh man, we should take a screenshot from episode 6 when they were on Kashyyyk, because there's another very similar caption. Echo imitates Wookiee roar.
Yeah.
Or no, Wrecker, not Echo.
I'm so mad because it used to be that you couldn't take screenshots from the app of like things like Disney Plus, but you could always get a screenshot on the desktop version. The fact that they're able to block the desktop version makes me really mad.
Yeah. We did have a good moment where they're having their moment because she's like, we're family. And I said, Ohana means family. And then you went off on a tangent of Camino means family. Camino means no one gets left behind except Crosshair. And of course, to which I said, well, he's not family.
That's great. That's so good.
So they finally make it out of the cave. Very fortunate for them. I mean, most people that get lost in caves don't come back out. So, you know, they...
yeah,
I'm
probably.
just saying, most of them, they get
especially
lost.
on deserted planets.
Yeah, so they finally head out. They see the ship station that they were going to go to, and they finally show up, and it's abandoned. And honestly, with the way those storms move, smart choice. I wouldn't live out there either. And so they finally get to contact Sid, and Sid's like, I'm not helping you guys. Which sucks.
I'm busy.
But there's a bit of a funny moment because Hunter's like, we've helped you out so many times. You know, they're like, we've helped you out so many times. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll figure it out. Give me a couple days. And Hunter's like, we don't have a couple of days. And Sid immediately hangs up. Like, the immediate hang up is good. I thought that was very funny.
Yes. That was a nice little comedic moment right before the ominous cliffhanger ending.
Yeah. So they have to wait 7 days before Sid can rescue them. AKA 7 days.
Well, we have to wait 7 days, but do they have to wait 7 days is the question. Okay, I'm getting a screenshot here. I figured out that my Firefox extension can get screenshots on Disney Plus, so I'm very happy.
Did you hear that,
this.
listeners? If you use Disney Plus on Firefox, you can take screenshots.
I believe this should work. I'm gonna double check here. Yeah, so the Apple screenshot doesn't work, but this third party extension does. Great. Okay, so that's the end of the episode. Generally pretty decent. Not my favorite episode, but didn't feel like filler in the sense of there was something to it. Like it did not progress any plot. We got a lot of plot.
At least they acknowledged that Echo left.
That's
versus
true.
Versus the last episode, where they're like, bye.
Yeah, but do you know what I just realized? They don't recognize the fact that they just ruined life for all clones in the galaxy.
No, they kind of make a mention of it. At the end, they're like, they made a comment. They're like, all of this is because of us, I think. So that's why.
What do you mean all of this though?
Like everything that's about, like, I can't remember what the exact phrase is, but they acknowledge, I'm fairly certain, that
at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But not this episode.
In this episode. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't matter anymore to them.
Yeah, no other clones around. No regs. No regs. No regs. No cares.
We don't care what happens to regs.
No regs. No eggs. Anyways, so that takes us into our segment, which I call Meme Minute, but it's longer than a minute.
I have like
parenthesis meme parsec. Meme astrosecond.
Meme click.
Meme click. Oh, like a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parsec is Star Wars, and astrosecond is Transformers.
Oh.
So meme minute, but it's longer than a minute.
Is it? Oh, I forgot.
They constantly say astrosecond.
Yeah, it is in G1. I'm thinking of a different continuity, and I was like, huh? I have too much knowledge. Anyways.
So, just to be topical, so from this last week, I made a meme format. I just really enjoyed Rihanna's reaction to the fireworks at the end of her Super Bowl show. So I took a screenshot of the fireworks and then put it next to a screenshot of her reaction, and then labeled them. And I labeled them the fireworks as the Death Star 2 exploding, and then Rihanna as the Ewoks on Endor. And then you responded, needs more dancing. So I just sent you a clip of her and her guys dancing, and I thought that was really funny.
Did you see the TikTok I sent you about Rihanna?
I did not.
I sent Cameron a TikTok where someone had synced up Palpatine's speech at the end of Revenge of the Sith to shots of Rihanna from the Super Bowl, and it works too well. It's really good. I'll have to post a link on the Twitter.
Oh, here it is.
On the Twitter.
The Republic will be reorganized in the first That's really, really funny.
It's good.
Oh, wow. That's funny. Oh, man. This is very good. And the red. Oh, and it cuts to Padme. Oh, that's so good. Oh, my gosh. That's the lights. Phenomenal.
I'll post it on Twitter.
What a great TikTok. Oh, I love it.
I'll post it on Twitter. It's good. See, I knew you were going to enjoy it. This isn't necessarily a meme, but I sent this to Cameron because on Thursday, Star Wars announced their release date for the new Young Jedi Adventures show. That is going to be aired on Disney Junior. And I sent it to Cameron and immediately said, imagine we podcast this.
Oh, and how did I respond?
I almost texted, I'm going to read it. I almost texted you about this yesterday. Send. Ha ha ha. Send. Absolutely not. Send. We've got enough to talk about. You thought it was worth mentioning, though. So,
what was the other thing I said, though?
I'm not watching the Star Wars equivalent of PJ Masks.
Yep, there it is. It just, like, it maybe once it comes out, we hear about it. Maybe there's like something some interesting canonical
the lore
element, and it is Yoda content, which is interesting. But I doubt we'll have much to discuss.
It's set during the High Republic, which is interesting.
That's the most interesting. Yeah, that is interesting about it.
So they survive Order 66.
I'm glad you brought that up because I saw just a still from it, which was these younglings training with Yoda, and I did not know yet that it was a High Republic, and I thought those younglings are gonna die.
You and everyone else. This one isn't necessarily a meme, but I sent it to you. Star Wars posted a quiz. The official Star Wars posted a quiz on who's your Star Wars soulmate. So I know mine. Did you take it?
I did.
Who'd you get?
No, I would not have taken it, but you told me to. I didn't want to face your wrath.
Immediately.
So I'm trying to. I took a screenshot of my result.
For the podcast.
Your soulmate is Finn, brave and loyal. Unless you're the First Order, Finn is a perfect partner for you. He'll gladly lend you his jacket when you're cold, defend your honor, and travel to the ends of the galaxy to fight for what's right.
My soulmate is the Mandalorian.
That's great.
This is the way to your heart. The mysterious masked warrior Din Djarin is your ideal other half. Together you'll set off on adventures across the stars. But where should you go? Find out in the StarWarsQuiz.com.
I definitely thought you were going to get Kylo Ren and name your car.
I don't think he was an option, but apparently Palpatine was.
Good. Anyways. Oh, man. Okay, never mind.
Because some people in the comments were like, are you kidding me?
One of the funniest Star Wars memes I've seen in a while. It says POV, Anakin after bringing balance to the Force by killing younglings.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one.
So in case you don't recognize that infamous voice, that is former United States President Donald Trump. Yelling, I am the chosen one. Someone had to do it. Insane.
It's real. That's a real clip. We
Wild.
looked it up.
Yeah. At first I thought it was like somehow audio engineered. Totally real clip of him.
No, it's real.
The fact that that is like pure meme material. The fact that I've never seen it before is wild.
I know.
And what more perfect than Star Wars? So love it.
I really don't have very many memes. I almost said semester.
I've got Transformers memes.
Oh, I've got one more Star Wars meme.
Go for it.
I've been trying to show this one. It's a picture of Babu Freak, and it's just captioned, "This is a certified hey moment."
Oh, that's good.
With like the lovely. Hey and like a stamp. Like you stamp something. It's cute.
So this is less of a meme and just something that I hope you can maybe explain to me.
Oh no.
It is an image from what I assume is a Transformers comic. A purple Transformer.
You did not just look at me and try to tell me to narrow down.
No, I'm getting more information.
Okay.
And he is saying the firstborn, and there's a human child in his chest, like a human developing baby, and like what appears to be an artificial womb. Care to explain?
No.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Please explain.
Gosh. I have to look it up so I can get it. Oh gosh, it's awful. So it's from 2005. From the 2005 IDW of the Gen 1 continuity. I say this with like the most pain in my heart because it's one of those things that I think they came out with, and like have you ever played like a video game where like your actions influence the NPCs around you and you do something that's like everyone disliked that? That's
Yes.
pretty much what this was. So the character Scorponok is like a scientist, and his science created what this was called the Firstborn, which is an organic Decepticon powered by a spark, which is basically their hearts. It's essentially a Transformer heart in a squishy human-looking body.
Wow. And it's just kind of a terrifying image.
It's awful.
Do
you see the close-up? Do you see
preggers?
Do you see the close-up? It's got the Decepticon logo on its face.
Oh my gosh. He looks like...
It's so bad.
He looks like Kang the Conqueror from Marvel.
No!
His entire face is enveloped by a Decepticon logo. That's hysterical.
It was one of those things where I feel like people just, for the most part, everyone just ignores it. It's just this really weird stint in that IDW portion. And it's like, why? Everyone asking why. So I'm sorry you had to see that. Who did that to you?
So continuing on, thank you for explaining that, by the way. Always learning little tidbits about lore around here.
Unfortunately, you had to pick that one.
This meme is an image of SpongeBob laying in bed with his eyes barely open, clearly angry. And the caption says, Optimus being revived from death to Sam Witwicky already screaming at him to save Earth. Optimus!
He's trying.
This is just an image of a Amazon product. And I thought the name was product there. Wooden robot. It says wooden robot transforms into tank, and they're called Woobot. And if he's like, of all the different like crazy transformer, like, you know, you've got the robot, of course the robots, the Dino bots, the Insecticons. I'm sure all the beast guys. I'm sure there are more and more and more. The idea of wooden ones calling being Woobots.
Woobots. Don't forget Treecons.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's in the same stint as the Firstborn, so it's rough.
Man, they would just snort cocaine and be like,
oh my gosh.
What if?
There is a character, I can't remember who, can't remember which. Oh man, there is a recent comic that had an artist. Let me see if I can find it because it is good. Oh, sorry, I've been distracted. I want to read it because it's so good. It's about one of the comics that I think very recently came out. If you have something that you can say in the meantime, I have to, I gotta find this. Hey, here's something they posted. Do you think Transformers should have noses or not?
No, because I've seen Transformers with noses and I hate it.
Oh, that they should not?
They should not. Why? Okay. Do you think they should?
No, I was just curious. They don't in Transformers Prime, but I'm also biased because that one's my favorite. Anyways, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this, but an artist recently in the Transformers, one of the artists for Transformers comic has been apparently for years trying to sneak like his own like little fan made character into the background of some comic panel. And for years, like, the editor has been, saying, you can't do that because it's not a real canon character. And he finally did it. So his own little cute character is finally in the background of some comics.
Do you have an image?
I'm trying to find it. Sometimes, you're sorry. If you have other things, I will pull it up.
So here's a meme of you've got normal looking Mr. Incredible, and it says Marvel fans when a human falls in love with a robot, and in the corner it's got Vision and the Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda, and then the next one is Mr. Incredible looking very terrified and scarred with the black and white filter, and it's all grainy, and it says Transformers fans when a human falls in love with a Transformers fans when a robot falls in love with a human, and it's the famous image from the was it Kiss Players?
Stop.
And it's Optimus Prime with his waifu.
Why are you making why this is supposed to be an enjoyable podcast and you're having to bring up Kiss Players and the Firstborn in my house?
It's not my fault this exists. It is not my fault.
In my house.
This is not me going on the internet trying to find weird stuff. This is canon. This is mainline Transformers stuff. Okay, so this is it.
No. This is just another image.
I love Detector Thundercracker.
He's got a little hat.
That is fun.
Interesting tidbit, and also I think it's an IDW. Thundercracker, the blue jet from G1, is a movie buff.
Interesting.
He's a movie buff, which is
so the rest I have, I don't think I've shown you yet. So mostly I want to get your reaction to them.
Oh, no.
This is one of Optimus Prime, and he's saying, "Nothing like taking off your boots after a long day at work."
I hate that.
And his big blue, like, lower part of his legs are off, and he has, like, bare robot calves and feet and toes. And for some reason, the background is... Oh, wait, no, that's their ship. I thought that was a Star
1.
Destroyer on Jakku.
Oh, my gosh.
That makes so much more sense now.
I kind of understand it.
So here, this is not a meme, but these are just two products that apparently existed to advertise for Transformers Revenge of... No,
Transformers Revenge of the Sith.
No, I was going to say Revenge of the Fallen, but it was Dark of the Moon. They were Hostess products, Snowballimus Prime, and Shockwave.
Yes, I forgot about that. I used to see those all the time.
I have never seen these before. Snowballimus Optimus Prime and Shockwave. Oh, it's too good. It's too good.
Branding has no in case you thought there was too much product placement in the movies. Now you got to see out of the movies.
And then my final one I wanted your reaction on is it says, I know you've all been wondering what C-3PO would look like with human eyes, so I've sorted that out for you.
Oh, I hate that.
Good stuff.
I hate that a lot.
Have you found our fan?
Nope. I don't know if I'm gonna.
Another one.
I don't remember where I saw it.
These aren't really memes this week as much as just things. So this is a reaction I already got from Rachel. So I sent her a screenshot of the IMDb page for the Flash movie, and I circled one particular actor, Mr. Tamora Morrison, aka Jango Fett, aka New Boba Fett, aka the Clones, and I said the only man who matters. And you sent back a reaction image of the young boy just like crying in pain, and it says, "How dare they make me choose between boycotting Ezra Miller and loving Tamora."
I'm truly devastated.
Great reaction.
Because I was like, I'm not going to see The Flash. And now I'm like, oh, but I feel obligated to support Tamora Morrison because I love him. Anyways, it's fine. I'm not sad. Devastated. I really cannot find this post. So I'm probably, I don't know. I guess it's gone. Did I send it to myself? Sometimes I send things to myself because... a bit of news that we missed up top. And I don't typically like reporting on the announcement of films just because so many things get announced and never made. But I think this was worth mentioning, that it apparently there's going to be a fully animated Transformers film releasing in 2024 in theaters. I saw that. Apparently it was announced like last year and there's not really been...
I didn't know though, but you sent me the tweet. I thought it was worth mentioning. What is that?
That's
What did you just show me?
That's a picture of Optimus Prime fighting Darth Vader.
Anyways, this film's going to be directed by the man who directed Toy Story 4, which I like a lot.
Isn't he going to be busy doing Toy Story 5?
Apparently not. I mean, what is Transformers but not a Toy Story film? It's Toy Story gone too far.
No, it's Super Soldiers.
Oh, it's very similar to Super Soldiers. And what else was interesting about this is it'll be set on Cybertron and explore the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron. So, very interested in that.
That's never been done before. Never has that been done before.
I'm just checking my other tweets from you to see if any of them are relevant to what we talked about today. I sent you a screenshot or an image from when we were discussing the new Star Wars Padawan, the Young Jedi Adventures. I just sent you an image, and I just said kind of Coco Melon vibes as well. That's a terrifying cartoon. Gosh dang it. Okay. Any other memes you wanted to share?
I really didn't have all that much this last time. I don't know. I don't know if it was just little, like, I just didn't really see too many. So, I don't know if I made any. Did I make, oh, wait. Nope, never mind.
Okay. Well, that's a great place to close out this week's podcast. Thank you so much for joining us for Starformers Night. This has been Rebels and Robots. We are Rachel and Cameron signing out saying, don't ever tell an adolescent girl what is your issue if you don't want to fall down an infinite chasm.
And get flushed away.
Good night, everyone.